Okay, continuing on with the properties of halite. When we get to the essentially the hardness of halite is fairly low. It's only at a 2. The structure of it is very clear. It has a very cubic structure, as you would expect from what we learned earlier in today's lesson, and it's quite brittle. So continuing on then, we've got bauxite. This is the one that makes up that is in use to prepare aluminum. And bauxite is looks almost like something is embedded in something else, so almost like a composite here, doesn't it? But anyway, be that as it may, its color is reddish, and the luster is earthy or kind of a dull. And when you grind it up, the powder, so that the streak is reddish. The bauxite also is very, very crumbly. It has a hardness of 1. There is, in terms of the cleavage or fracture, there is none associated with it. It just breaks off very easily. And it has a clayish type of odor. The biotite is a black or brownish type of material, and it almost looks like a glass. But when you grind it up, it becomes white or grayish. And the hardness of this is about a 2.5 to 3, and it comes off in sheets. Okay, and it's a rather. The interesting thing about it, it is somewhat flexible for those sheets. The next one has some interesting properties as well. Both of these right here are variations on mica, but very different types of mica. This muscovite is clear to light brown in color as opposed to this one being black. But this is this also has a glassy appearance to it. And when you grind this one up, it's also white, okay? And the hardness on this is 2 to 3. It also comes off in sheets, and it's also flexible. So you see that the properties, except for the very first one, are quite similar to these two, and that's why they're just two variations on how mica is formed, okay? This next one is sphalerite. And this is a brownish, yellowish type of color. It's sort of a almost metallic type of luster to it. And when you grind it up, it becomes light brown. And the hardness of this one is 3.5 to 4. And it has very distinctive ridges. If you blow this up, you can see that's when you shear this one, it comes off as dodecahedral type of structures. That's dodecahedral. In other words, it's a 12-sided type of structure. And it's quite brittle. Okay. Then we'll continue on to the final ones. We have galena here. Galena is sort of a lead gray material, and it has a metallic sheen to it. When you grind it up, its streak is gray-black. It has a hardness of only 2.5, and but when you shear it, it comes off in little cubic blocks along the lines of what you would see when you have the halite. And in terms of it's quite brittle, just like the sugars are as well. I mean, just like the salt is as well. This is chrysotil. Right here. This right here is green in color, and this is the cryosite or asbestos. You can see little fibers coming from here, okay? And this is where asbestos comes from. It's green, it's vitreous in terms of its sheen. When you grind it up, it's yellowish white. Just don't breathe it in. And in terms of hardness, it's quite hard. It's 6.5 to 7. And this type of structure where it forms these types of things, is called piracoidal. 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 And it also is brittle. Okay. Then the final one is gypsum. Gypsum is white. It's vitreous and silky to the touch, and it is in terms of its luster. And when you grind it up, it still is white. The hardness of this is just a bit above talc, and it is a 2. And this right here is one of those ones that is the clinospinal scoidal. Okay, clinospinal scoidal. CLINOSPINACOIDAL. And it's kind of interesting. It forms kind of a glassy type of material in terms of the other type of properties. So there you have it, the different materials. And those are some of the most common ones in the crust of the earth. And so you now have enough to fill out all the different ones. Now, there is no extra charge if you go back and have to listen to this again. If you miss something as I was reading through the different descriptions for these, you can go back, listen to them again, make certain you get the right information recorded, and for when you turn in the report, you can you don't have to download you don't have to turn into me the colored pictures. Just primarily this page and this page right here will be sufficient for your photographic skills. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And now when you are walking among the rocks that we have here in the Ozarks, you'll have a better appreciation for some of them, I hope. And that's the end of this lab.